But in 1945, in all liberated countries, the feeling for vengeance was overriding people's minds. Those who had collaborated with the Germans must pay, at once. In France, at Vichy, a chief of the milice who fought the resistance is lynched by the mob. In Paris, two French policemen who had been working as torturers for the Gestapo, Boney and Lafont, are executed. In Prague, Jarosz, who helped Hitler carve up his country, is shot too. In Rome takes place a ceremony of shame as Caruso, head of the fascist police, is shot in the back. The Allies are divided. Churchill would have them all shot. But Roosevelt says, it will be more fair and efficient to start an official trial, providing future generations an exhaustive case file on Nazi crimes. It will be the first international trial in history. Nuremberg's law courts are chosen, as they remain one of the few such buildings still intact. Nuremberg, where Göring had proclaimed the racial laws.
Eheschließungen zwischen Juden und Staatsangehörigen deutschen oder artverwandten Blutes sind verboten.
Göring is now a mere prisoner, as all the other dignitaries of the Reich. During 3 months, German war prisoners renovate the courtroom. They are former SS who, until then, kept camp prisoners working. The Americans have a projection room installed by them. The media from all over the world will be there for the war criminals' trial. The trial will last a whole year, until October 1946. The 22 top Nazi leaders still alive will be tried. Göring has lost a lot of weight. Addicted to drugs, he has had to undergo a treatment in jail. Here is proud Admiral Dönitz, now worn out and grown old, followed by Rudolf Hess, who slightly nods disdainfully. Hess, the Führer's heir apparent, had flown over to England in 1941 to negotiate peace unsuccessfully. He has spent the war in jail. A mocking Göring welcomes the man he has always called a fool, Ribbentrop, Hitler's Minister for Foreign Affairs, followed by Balder von Schirach, head of Hitler's youth movement. An unlikely social gathering, while they risk a death sentence. Like Marshal Keitel, who clicks his heels. He is indicted for crimes of war, together with General Jodl, his deputy. They have covered up for the summary executions of Soviet commissioners and shielded all kinds of horrors carried out on the Eastern Front. A German soldier has filmed here a Russian child being torn from his mother and then murdered. In front of these hanged men, a notice says, "These Jews have insulted the Wehrmacht." Jews should have shown respect for German soldiers. Here is Alfred Rosenberg, hazy theorist of anti-Semitism who brought to a frenzy the myth of the superior race. He spread all over Germany the poison of his theories, relayed by newspapers like The Stürmer, with its Jewishness is criminal. Its editor, Streicher, who is sitting in the front row of the defendant's bench, was already advocating in 1935 the final solution.
Wer selig geworden ist, der weiß, ohne Lösung der Judenfrage keine Erlösung der Menschheit.
Notions that brought about massacres. No lesser was Franz von Pappen's responsibility. He was Germany's chancellor before Hitler and helped him rise to power. But who could have foreseen it? These Nazis, so anti-communistic, so reassuring when out of uniform, have rather extreme ideas, but the run of affairs might temper them. It did not. Within months, good old fat Göring has turned into a tyrant and started the first concentration camp at Dachau, near Munich, to lock up at first the communists, the Social Democrats, and the trade unionists. Annexes will have to be created at Buchenwald and Mauthausen. The criminals will appear in front of British, American, Soviet, and French judges. The entire trial will be filmed under heavy spotlights that make the accused uncomfortable. Kaltenbrunner, chief of the Gestapo, has to be taken to a military hospital. He was the one who had Hans and Sophie Scholl, courageous young German resistance fighters, beheaded in front of him. Rudolf Hess can take it no longer, though he might be feigning madness. Such are these men, publicly perceived here as the living symbols of evil. Every country victimized by the Nazis is represented here by its own prosecutors. All languages are translated simultaneously, thanks to a system devised by the American firm IBM. The charges against them are a plot against peace, crimes of war, and crimes against humanity. For the first time, a definition of crimes against humanity is given in international law. It includes assassination, slavery, racial persecutions, and any inhuman act against civilian populations. For the first time, too, the main trial exhibit shown is a film, introduced by a warning signed by the great filmmaker John Ford. In order to prevent any negationist claim, he attests to the fact that no film effects whatever have been added to the images. The film starts with an upsetting map of hundreds of Nazi camps. For most defendants, it's a real shock. They didn't all know or want to know. In the end, one of the most compromised might be Speer. In his arms factories, camp prisoners died massively. Sauckel was also providing the slaves working for the mandatory work services. They were in concentration camps too. people often died there, starving to death, dying of exposure from ill treatments or exhaustion. But other camps were death camps, meant to kill en masse healthy people, millions of men, women, and children, by means of a deadly gas, Zyklon B, spread in gas chambers. In their crematorium furnaces, they could burn daily thousands of corpses. A French Auschwitz survivor is here to testify. A communist, she was deported for acts of resistance.
Êtes-vous témoin direct
Oui.
de la sélection à l'arrivée des convois?
Oui, parce que quand nous avons travaillé au bloc de la couture en 1944, notre bloc, le bloc où nous habitions, était en face de l'arrivée du train. On avait perfectionné le système. Au lieu de faire la sélection à la halte d'arrivée, une voie de garage menait le train presque jusqu'à la chambre à gaz. Et l'arrêt, c'est-à-dire à 100 mètres de la chambre à gaz, était juste devant notre bloc, mais naturellement séparé par 2 rangées de fils de fer barbelés. Nous voyions donc les wagons déplombés, les soldats sortir, les hommes, les femmes et les enfants des wagons, et on assistait aux scènes déchirantes des vieux couples se séparant, des mères étant obligées d'abandonner leurs jeunes filles puisqu'elles entraient dans le camp, tandis que les mères et les enfants étaient dirigés vers la chambre à gaz. Tous ces gens-là ignoraient le sort qui leur était réservé. Ils étaient seulement désemparés parce qu'on les séparait les uns des autres, mais ils ignoraient qu'ils allaient à la mort. Par les...
You're going too fast.
Sorry. Une nuit, nous avons été réveillés par des cris effroyables. Nous avons appris le lendemain matin par les hommes qui travaillaient au Sonderkommando, le commando des gaz, que la veille, n'ayant pas assez de gaz, ils avaient jeté les enfants vivants dans les fournaises.
What can the defendants say? Here are some of the final statements. Göring.
Ich habe alles getan, ihn durch Verhandlungen zu vermeiden.
Ribbentrop.
Was wir beabsichtigten, war, unsere elementarsten Daseinsbedingungen wahrzunehmen für die
Kaltenbrunner.
Konzentrationslager, für die Vernichtung jüdischen Menschenlebens, für Einsatzgruppen und anderes mehr. Dies alles entspricht weder dem Beweisergebnis noch der Wahrheit.
Rudolf Hess specially asks to remain seated due to his poor health.
Ich bin kein kirchlicher Mensch. Ich habe kein inneres Verhältnis zu den Kirchen. Aber ich bin ein tief religiöser Mensch. Ich bin überzeugt, dass mein Gottglaube stärker ist als der meisten anderen Menschen.
Only Keitel, as a soldier, has dignity.
Es liegt mir fern, meinen Anteil an dem, was geschehen ist, zu verkleinern. Ich habe geirrt und war nicht imstande zu verhindern, was hätte verhindert werden müssen. Das ist meine Schuld.
It will not save him. The court retires to confer. But will these men be equal to this historical moment? The judges argue in order to save some heads. such as that of Speer, who helped the Allies by handing them the plans of Japan's military industry, or that of von Papen, who has good friends. The Soviet judges are reluctant. Most defendants are sentenced to death. Among them, Göring, Kaltenbrunner, Rosenberg, Sauckel, Streicher, Ribbentrop. Göring manages to commit suicide, though he has been constantly kept under surveillance. Who handed in the cyanide? Why did his guard relax his watch? Was it sympathy or bribery? The executions are carried out at once during the night of October the 15th to the 16th, 1946. After the top leaders comes the turn of those who obeyed them with the greatest zeal. The Western Allies alone will judge and hang 794 Nazi criminals. Among them, Kramer, commander of the Bergen-Belsen camp. Another camp commander is about to be hanged. Amon Goeth, the actual camp chief in the film Schindler's List. He loved shooting camp prisoners with a rifle. His end will be a long one. The hangman has poorly reckoned his gallows. The hangman gets worked up. Goeth survives 2 hangings and dies the 3rd time. The hangman is at last satisfied. In Eastern Europe, there will be hundreds of executions, always in public, and always filmed with the most ghastly details. Such are the punishments inflicted by those nations who have suffered. At Landsberg jail in Bavaria, the Americans hang medical doctors. At Dachau, Dr. Klaus Schilling had been during 2 years inoculating malaria to his prisoners in order to try out new treatments. His reasoning was, since these people must die, let them be of some use. Thus, many German physicians rushed forward to benefit from a unique good luck given by the Nazis to supply very many human guinea pigs of all ages and origins.